Confession of the Last Surviving Tartarian. I have waited too long to speak, not because I lacked words, but because words are dangerous things when the world has been trained to forget. They told you we'd never existed. They folded us into footnotes. They turned our cities into coincidences, our towers into odd architecture, our bones into dust beneath new names. But I remember, and I am the last one left who does. My name does not matter anymore. Names were stripped from us the way carvings are sanded from stone. Call me what you wish: wanderer, liar, relic, ghost. I was born beneath domes that hummed, not with electricity as you know it, no crude wires, no harsh buzzing, but with something older, cleaner. The air itself carried a resonance, a living current. The buildings were not dead structures. They were instruments. Our cities were tuned. You walk through the ruins of them now and call them capitals, cathedrals, old world fairs. You stare at the spires and pretend they were only decoration. They were not. They were antennas. We did not conquer with armies. We did not build with suffering. We shaped stone the way you shape sound, through frequency, through understanding. The world was softer then, more willing to listen. We called it the Great Harmony. The Tartarian realm was not an empire the way your history teaches empires. It was a network of aligned places, connected by knowledge that did not require domination. And that is why we were erased. Because a world that remembers harmony becomes difficult to control. I was a child when the silence began. At first it was subtle. Books rewritten, maps redrawn, languages simplified. Then came the floods. Not only of water, but of confusion. Fires in libraries, new borders, new calendars, a new story. They called it progress. But I saw the fear beneath their progress. The fear of a people who had discovered something terrible. That humanity does not need them. That people, left unbroken, will build beauty. So they broke us. They dismantled the towers first. Not with explosions, with renovations, with safety codes, with explanations that sounded reasonable enough for a sleeping public. Then they took the children. Not always by force, sometimes by schools, sometimes by adoption, sometimes by telling them their ancestors were primitive, that the old ways were fantasy. Soon even the word Tartarian became a joke, a myth, a ghost story for those who felt the shape of something missing. I survived because I was hidden. Deep in the steppe, beneath a collapsed observatory, where the stones still sang faintly when the wind passed through them. The elders told me, before they died, that forgetting would be the final weapon. They will not kill you, my grandmother whispered. They will convince the world you were never alive. And she was right. I have lived through decades of watching strangers occupy our halls, calling them theirs. I have watched tourists take pictures beneath our domes without knowing they are standing inside a machine of resonance. I have watched your world grow louder, harsher, more disconnected. The harmony is gone, but not destroyed, only buried. The truth does not stay buried forever. Stone remembers. Frequency remembers. There will come a time, soon, when your world, exhausted by artificial noise, will begin to ache for something it cannot name. People will look at the old buildings and feel it. They will ask why beauty was once effortless. They will ask why the past seems more advanced than the story allows. And cracks will form. Not in the buildings, in the narrative. When that happens, they will call it awakening. They will call it madness. They will call it conspiracy. But it will simply be remembrance. I do not expect you to believe me. Belief is not the point. The point is that something was stolen from humanity. Not an empire, not a flag, not a bloodline, but a possibility. A world where knowledge served harmony instead of control. If you ever stand before one of our silent towers and feel, for no logical reason, that it was meant to do more than impress, if you ever hear wind through an old dome and think it sounds almost like music, then you are hearing the edge of what we are and what we were. And I, the last surviving Tartarian, confess this. We were real. In a way, all forgotten things are real. And the future will not belong to those who erase. It will belong to those who remember.